Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Pure Kino podcast, a new project that I'm doing where I'm going to interview, content creators on YouTube and just, talk to them about, this crazy process that we do. And I am so honored to be joined today as my first guest, a man who needs no introduction. He's a legend in the Sopranos community. He is the boss of all Sopranos compilations. Borko, thank you so much for being here today.
Wow, what can I say after that introduction?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you.
Yeah, and you are joining us today from Serbia, is that correct?
Yes, from Serbia. 8 a.m. in Serbia.
8 a.m. It's it's about 11 p.m. here. So we found a way to make the times work. Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, you wake up early, yeah. I'm more of a night owl, so this actually works pretty perfectly. But yeah, it's an honor to have you here. I guess the most obvious thing is how did you come to start doing this Sopranos compilations on YouTube? How did that process begin for you?
Well, what can I say? I don't think you'll believe me. It just happened accidentally. Excellent. It was practically an accident. One night in 2018, I was a bit drunk, I need to say that, and I really didn't have a good sleep that night. So I turned my computer on, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't sleep. It was very early, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., something like that. And since I love editing videos in general, then I was like, hey, I have a YouTube account. Okay, I love Sopranos. Let's upload something. I don't know. And then I uploaded the video called All Conversations Between Tony Soprano and Junior Soprano Part 1. It was more than a half hour long, and I don't know, for some reason a YouTube algorithm started recommending it, and then I uploaded one more and one more and one more, and that's it.
Just goes from there.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's incredible. So just random one night. Absolutely, you're drunk.
Random. Believe me, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible that it becomes this huge sensation.
It wasn't planned. It wasn't my dream. It was just a random occurrence.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. I'm happy because it's really fun to upload.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I know the same feeling, of like you just happen to be there at the right time, the right place when the algorithm, starts to recommend you, people start following you, and it turns into something, you never thought it would be. It's kind of a similar journey for me. When I was first doing this, it was just kind of a passion project because of COVID. I was home all the time. I was unemployed at the time. And it just seemed like something interesting to do, to just talk about, films and TV shows that I liked. I was originally doing, like classic films, old like film noir, like The Killers. That was my first video. And, getting around like maybe 100 views a video, no one really paying attention, until I just happened to upload a video about The Sopranos. And as you know very much, the Sopranos community is one of the most active and dedicated fan bases of any TV show, especially for a show that's been off the air for almost 20 years.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible how dedicated.
Oh, yeah.
Sopranos community is. I have never seen anything like that. Anything, even remotely close. It's insane. But it's nice at the same time.
It is. How did you, come to, watch the show? Were you a fan of it for a long time? Tell me about how that came to be.
No, actually, I started watching Sopranos for the first time after James Gandolfini died. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know who Gandolfini is. I knew him from the movie
True Romance.
No, not True Romance. Not Mexican, but I can't remember the name of the movie. but he played the mayor of New York with John Travolta.
Oh, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and yeah, and Jackie Aprile also played it.
Yeah,
not a major role, but he played an important role there. So I knew who Gandolfini is from there. He was dead for like maybe 3 or 4 months, because I started watching Sopranos after Breaking Bad ended in 2013, because I really liked Breaking Bad. So that's a past tense. I don't like it anymore. But that's a different story. And then I don't know. I really kind of got hooked on the show pretty easily.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we all know that feeling. I got into The Sopranos after it ended, way after it ended. I was familiar with I had heard about The Sopranos, and I knew about the ending. Everyone always talked about the ending, the cut to black. So I knew what that was, but I never actually watched the show. I got my start watching it through clips on YouTube, funny enough. Some of them might have been yours. I don't even know. But I just randomly got recommended some clips, started watching them piecemeal, out of order, not understanding the story at all, but just the dialogue and the way the characters talk to each other. It just entranced me. And then finally, when I got HBO, I was like, okay, let's sit down and watch this. And yeah, it's incredible, the best show of all time, hands down. People say
watching. Sorry to interrupt.
No. God, it must have been 2015, 2016, sometime around there. But yeah, just once I started, I was like, oh my God, there's never been a show like this, even for being old. And like you too, I've seen other shows since then, like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, a lot of shows that came afterwards that people really critically acclaim. But even though Sopranos is way older, somehow it just completely outshines these other shows, even to this day. Just a masterpiece.
Absolutely, yeah. And every season has its own, how can I say that? Has its own story that really nails it perfect. I mean,
oh yeah,
season 1, Junior versus Tony. Season 2, Richie Aprile. Season 3, Ralph shows up.
Yeah.
And season 5 and season 6, for me,
your man,
funniest character in all the series, Frank Winston, the great Frank Winston.
Yes, your icon.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just sometimes enough to look at him.
Oh yeah,
he's so nervous and angry all the time, and he doesn't need to say anything. I just start laughing.
No, he's incredible. I heard in interviews with David Chase that they wanted to get him on the show very early into season 1. He was actually auditioned for the role of Junior, but they were just like, too many Goodfellas cast already. It would be too associated with that movie. So they're
actually told him he's too famous for the role.
Yeah, he's too iconic from Goodfellas. Yeah, and Casino too, also. But yeah, it's just an incredible character. Now, obviously Phil is your favorite character. Everyone knows mine is Richie. Who do you think would win in a fight between the two of them?
Well, I don't know. Richie, actually, the guy who plays it, David Proval, he was an amateur boxer, so he probably wins that one. But maybe. I don't know what was Phil doing during those 20 years in the can. So maybe.
Those 20 years he always talks about. Yeah, I don't know. They're both scary fellows. I wouldn't want to get on their bad sides. We're going to take a short break to hear from the sponsor of this video, Atlas VPN. Now, I'm not sure if you can tell from my name, but I spend a lot of my time watching shows and movies. And like most of you, I prefer the convenience of streaming what I watch. However, not all my favorite shows are available on streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, or HBO Max. That's where Atlas VPN comes in. Atlas VPN is a tool that encrypts your data and hides your virtual location. When you connect to a VPN server, your device is given a new IP and DNS address. Let's say, for example, that you're in the US and you wanted to watch Top Gear on Netflix, which is currently only available in the UK. All you need to do is open the Atlas VPN application and simply connect to the country of which library you'd like to unlock. Then log into Netflix, and that's it. Atlas also has a data breach monitoring tool. By inserting your email address, the tool scans the internet to see if it ended up in any recorded data breaches or data dumps that include emails, names, passwords, and other sensitive information. Enabling notifications ensures that you're aware of such incidents and gives you a heads up to change your password before any cybercriminals have a chance to steal your accounts. Currently, Atlas VPN is running a huge discount on their 3-year deal for just $1.39 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. This deal won't last long, so make sure to check it out by clicking the link in the video description down below. Your compilations are known not only for just, you have a lot of them and they encompass a lot of the show, but they also have some very interesting titles, some very humorous, edits, titles, and you inject a lot of your personality into your videos, even without, directly, talking over them or anything like that. Where does that come from, that, that charm you add to the videos?
Well, thanks for that. I don't know. It just pops up in my head. I don't know. Nothing particularly planned.
Yeah.
It just happens. I don't know. Sometimes it's pretty good. Sometimes it's not. And I don't know. I don't really pay attention too much to that, to be honest.
I felt like it matches the humor of the show, because for being such a dark show with a lot of bad things happening, it's mostly funny. I think that's really what sets Sopranos apart from a lot of these dramas that came afterwards, is just the humor. 90% of the show is just laugh out loud funny, and it makes the horrible moments more tolerable because you just enjoy watching it so much.
I agree. There will never be anything remotely comparable to what those guys did from 99 to 2007. That cast, the director, the storytelling, everything was perfect. Even though, and not everything. Anthony Soprano Jr., that character, it should have never happened.
He's such a hateable little kid. But I won't give crap to his performance, Robert Eiler, because there is something to making you hate a character that much where you're like, oh, you were good enough to make me hate you. And yeah, he's just such a pathetic and whiny character. But you can see how being raised by Tony and Carmela, probably some of the worst parents who ever existed, could produce a kid like that, just constantly indulging his bad habits, never punishing him, never challenging him. You can see why he turns out to be that way.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know if Robert Tyler is the worst actor of all time or actually an outstanding actor, because the AJ character is so hateable that you don't know if it is because of the actor or the character. Does he play that role just like he was asked to, or he's just bad? I don't know, but it's so easy to hate that character. Amazing.
Well, there's a lot of characters like that on the show. I mean, the same way with Janice. Janice is one of the most despicable people in the entire show. But I think that's very deliberate, on Definitely. The writing, on the acting. They want you to hate her. In the same way that you're kind of supposed to hate a lot of these guys. It's just some of them are better at like disguising how shitty they are. Tony, especially to season 6, is just a horrible person, and the mask starts to come off of like, oh, why was I rooting for this guy?
Yeah. Livia Soprano. They started everything with Livia. Livia was amazing. I sometimes I just couldn't watch scenes with her because of how evil she was.
It's incredible the impact she had on the show for only being there for 2 seasons, really. But her character looms over the entire show. Even when she's gone, you still feel her evil presence there. But I really did like, not that she died, but that they were able to take the show away from just the mother and son dynamic. I think that really was what seasons 1 and 2 were about, was Tony's relationship with his mother. And then moving on from there, they were able to kind of explore, more themes than just that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I actually, if you ask me, of course, the actress died in real life, so they couldn't do anything about it. But I'm actually happy that Livia character, that she died in season 3, because that storyline that they had planned to do in season 3, with her being a witness against Tony in a RICO trial, that doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
Yeah, I think it was way more interesting what they were able to do, going away from that. And she dies so suddenly. It really is just like real life, where you don't always see it. It doesn't always happen at the end of a season. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere. And of course, it wasn't intentional in this case. They just had to adapt when the actress passed away. But I think, they did a great job with it even still. And season 3 has some of the most powerful storylines in the entire series.
Okay, and not just Pine Parents, everything.
No, everyone. No,
Jackie
employee
Aprile,
of the month.
Jackie Aprile Jr. I mean, that guy really brought something new to the show, because he's so stupid. I mean, he's like Anthony Soprano Jr. who tries to become a mobster.
Yeah.
But props to the guy who played him. What was his name? I forgot it. Jason Serbone. Serbone. We did a great job. So
he did.
Yeah. Jackie Aprile played a major role and contributed a lot to season 3 being maybe the most entertaining. I'm not saying the best, but the most entertaining of them all.
Oh yeah, his storyline with Meadow, and him just continually fucking up his life, making the wrong decisions. Tony and Ralphie enabling him along the way to making those wrong decisions. It's one of the best.
Do you know who his father was?
The actor's father?
No. I just
okay, gotcha. No, yeah.
You know
my father. Those are my father's garbage roots.
Oh yeah. I made a video about it, and I think he said that line. Do you know who my father was? Or what about my father 14 times?
Oh yeah.
14 times.
Well, that was his only claim to fame. He had no talent on his own. My favorite moment with him was when he has to sit down with Matoush. I love that he intentionally does this thing where he tries to look like Vito Corleone, the Godfather. I said in my analysis video of that episode, I don't know whether they did that as like an homage to Godfather in the, in like a film sense, but I like to imagine it that the character intentionally did that to look like Vito Corleone, because he wants to be a gangster.
You're right. It reminds very much of the Godfather 1, and I actually never thought about it until this moment. Yeah, what he does. It was a great scene, with Matoush and all that crap with him coming up with that story that he has friends, and Matoush getting kicked his ass by Furio. Actually, Furio.
He led him to it.
I prefer. So I have this, because I can say Serbia is something too close to Italy, but we are pretty close. I mean, geographically. So I pronounce Italian names like they do. You Americans say furio, and I just say furio. So if that happens during the remaining part of the podcast, I'm sorry, but it just happened.
No, it's good, and that they even say that on the show. You know, he says furio,
Furio.
but all the Italians who are not really connected to their homeland, they pronounce it the American way, like I do.
Mm-hmm.
And people always correct me too in the comments saying I say Sopranos when it's supposed to be Sopranos. But
Soprano.
Soprano, yeah. But you know what?
Soprano.
I'm American, and we pronounce things however the hell we want to.
Well, it's your show, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's supposed to be Antonio Soprano.
Well, I think that the use of language within the show again reflects the fact that despite these guys, you know, really being proud of their Italian heritage, they don't really know much about it. I mean, that's pretty much commendatory when they go back. That's what the whole episode revolves around. Just the fact that they don't really fit in with the Europeans. They look down on them even.
Definitely, yeah. I don't know why Paulie lied that he had the time of the greatest time of his life in Italy, and he's sorry for everyone who didn't.
Well, they lie to themselves all the time. Everything they say is a lie.
Yeah, because he was embarrassed by everyone whom he met there. So when he said that to Pussy, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I know he's lying even to himself. He wants to believe that, you know, he really connected and he belonged there, and you know, it plays into this fantasy they all have. But I don't think he can even admit it to himself, you know, just how much of a foreigner he is to his own culture.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a good episode, and it's a great thing they've done something like that too. It contributes a lot to the show, in my opinion. That commendatory episode.
It was one of the best episodes of season 2. And another kind of detail I've noticed is that Tony always refers to his captains as captains rather than capos. Whereas someone like Johnny Sack and the New York families, they typically say capos, at least what I've noticed so far. And that's another thing, I think, again, showing how much more Americanized Tony is, how distant he is from tradition. You know, obviously that's what Phil gets so pissed off about, is their lack of standards.
Yeah, but it also shows you that they're not really a family. They're just a glorified crew, like Carmen said, like Phil was saying all the time. They're not a family. They're like a crew that doesn't really belong to the Lupertazzi crime family, but yeah, it's more like their wing in Jersey than an actual crime family. So I think there is something to do with that too.
Well, I think it's about, you know, also the abandoning of traditional, like, you know, mafia values. And I use values in quotation marks because, you know, murderers and everything. But I think a lot of it is the abandonment of those traditional values for money. You know, we see Carmine basically saying that, you know, Ralph can get a pass for insulting John's wife because he's so valuable. Ultimately, the only thing they care about at the end of the day is making money. And they'll throw out the rule book, traditions, if it makes them money.
Let me remember for 1 second the episode Wait. I know you did it recently on your channel. Yeah. Carmine was all about money. So Johnny Sack goes to Carmine, obviously tells him everything about Ralph and the situation with Ginny. And when he said, what's next, Carmen? He wants to fuck her he gets to fuck her for $1 million. And Carmen's like, he wants to fuck her. Don't tell me we can get $1 million from Ralph.
He would let it.
I always got that feeling that he was actually okay. If we can get $1 million, I don't see a problem with that.
Oh no, Carmine was obsessed with
just
money.
My interpretation of that scene, or it was really supposed to be like that. But yeah, Carmine meant business. He was a real boss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why he survived so long and never went to jail. Whereas, you know, Johnny Sack immediately, he's boss for like 2 days and he immediately
Yeah.
gets thrown in prison. It's so funny. But it
Yeah,
shows you
I actually didn't like that.
the storyline of him in
Johnny
jail.
being Johnny being the boss for one episode. I mean, they should have done it for a bit longer, okay? Because season two had was made from two parts. Maybe Johnny as the boss I mean, he was still the boss in season 6 until he started crying at the wedding. But I don't know. Johnny was a legendary character, and I think he deserved more time on screen as the real boss, not
Yeah. I think they were trying to show their, that's what this life is all about. I mean, there's no safety. You could just instantly, you never know who's going to rat, who's going to testify. And it kind of shows how vain the struggle is for power. I mean, that's what Little Carmine comes to realize about the title, is that it's ultimately meaningless. And I really love that scene in season 6 where he talks to Tony, about the dream he has with his father, and ultimately it's about being happy. That's what Tony and Johnny and these other characters, they don't realize, is that it's not, at the end of the day, it's not worth anything. You're gonna die, you're gonna end up in prison.
I don't know. Yeah, Carmine Jr. definitely made it sound like that was his real stance, but I actually think he wanted to be the boss during the entire run. And when he said after Blondetto whacked Billy Leotardo, that's not how I want to handle things, that he meant something else, but giving the reign to Johnny unconditionally. So I don't know. There are a lot of fan theories about who whacked Tony at the end. In the end, I don't know if Carmen Jr. whacked Tony and actually gave the order to whack Tony, but it sounds pretty plausible to me that he wasn't really stupid. He just played them all brilliant into thinking that he's stupid, he's moron, he doesn't want to do anything with it. But in the end, it's possible to me, and that he's the one who takes reigns as the boss of Lupertazzi family and not Butch.
Well, I did that video too. I love that theory as well. I think it's very, subtle, all the details that lead into that, of, him intentionally messing up the meeting with Phil and Tony.
Oh yeah, that was, sorry to interrupt. That was absolutely intentional. Absolutely intentional. He didn't want really to be that meeting to end amicably, as they say. So he dropped that line knowing how Phil is going to react. That was 100% intentional, in my opinion. What do you think?
I like that theory. I mean, I did the whole video. It's one of my most popular ones talking about this. I definitely think he's smarter than people let on. One, just because if he did get out of the game, like he tells Tony, that's a smart decision. That in and of itself means he's intelligent. And two, he also really displays a lot of emotional intelligence, more so than other mobsters. There's a scene in season 6 when he and Christopher go to Los Angeles or whatever, they're trying to get actors for their movie. They talk to Sir Ben Kingsley. There's a scene there where he says, I don't want to make you uncomfortable if we go to the bar. Like it just shows you how like empathetic he is and how much he's thinking about other people. So again, it really shows a level of intelligence more than him just being an idiot. As for the theory that like he was the secret boss, I mean, I explored that. I'm kind of a guy who, if it wasn't in the show, like they didn't tell it to me, I'm hesitant to believe it. Because there's a lot of theories where you can go, really deep, and you can connect the dots in a way that you want them to. So I'm not sure I 100% agree with it. But I love the theory. I think there is a lot of evidence for him being more intelligent than we give him credit for.
there is absolutely, yeah. There is one moment actually where you're like, why the fuck is he asking Carmen Jr. for the permission?
Yeah,
At the
Butchie,
sit down.
in the sit down, when they're agreeing to the terms, he there's a scene, he looks and it cuts to Little Carmine as if
Yeah,
he's the one who's like has to give the actual permission, even though they don't explicitly say it. So there is a lot of evidence. I mean, I could totally buy it. It's one of the more plausible theories.
I think one of the most plausible theories, because in the end, it's very. I mean, it's a incredibly short cut of the scene for 1 second where you don't, or you're like not supposed to know where is Carmen going to go, with Tony and Paulie or with Butch and Albie, and he just walks. For 1 second, you see him walking with them, and okay, he's with New York. Butch just asked him for the permission, basically with the look of his eyes. He asked Carmen Lupertazzi Jr. about the permission to whack Phil, and you're like, why? And then, oh, Carmen actually might be the one behind everything, and Butch is just a front boss, actually not boss at the moment yet,
yeah,
soon to be. I don't know, we'll never find out. that's a nice thing about the Sopranos, that everyone's got their own theory. And
yeah,
let me just tell you that one of the theories that I really found pretty much impossible is that Paulie and Patsy whacked Tony.
you don't believe that one?
No, not at all, because Paulie is too stupid for something like that. And Patsy was like, what would be his motive? Okay, he whacked his brother, but that was 6 years before Tony's actual death. How can Patsy was a low-level soldier in Gaultieri crew, so what does he get from it? He doesn't. He certainly doesn't get promoted to the boss. I don't know. That's one of the least plausible theories.
Yeah, I mean,
in my.
yeah, no, I mean, Paulie. I mean, he has betrayed Tony in the past. When he talks to Johnny Sack, and they're discussing there might be a change coming to the New Jersey crew. He's like, well, if I'm the boss, I'll do whatever it takes to keep the peace. So we can see that he, in the past, has at least considered the possibility of replacing Tony, despite how loyal he claims to be. But yeah, I don't think he would be really smart enough to set that up on his own. Maybe he did it in conjunction with whoever waxed Tony, like maybe Butchie tells him it's going to happen. But definitely, I don't think he's the one who's like sends a hitman to go kill his boss. I don't think he can really benefit. And the same thing for Patsy too. His son's about to marry Tony's daughter. This is he has more to gain from sticking with Tony as the boss. Now that he's going to be, Tony was about to give him control of the April crew when until Paulie accepted it. So probably his best bet is to stick with Tony at this point. But I think we'll never know exactly, just because I really do think the ending is so connected to Tony's consciousness that the show ends when he ends, and like he'll never know what happened to him, and we'll never know.
Okay, but we pretty much all know what happened to him.
Well, we know that at least we think, and that's a controversial. People get mad at me when I say that in my videos.
But Chase confirmed it in that interview for 20-year anniversary in 2019.
People cling to whatever theories they want, and as they should. Ultimately, I think I'm of the opinion the author is dead, which is a philosophy that means that like you can interpret the work any way you want to. Ultimately, all that matters is what you believe.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I mean, if people want to believe that, and they have evidence for it in their heads, all for them. But yeah, I'm definitely with you. It's all there for me, all the evidence that he dies. But I was saying that we'll never know exactly who killed him, if they did.
Yeah, unfortunately. Who knows? Maybe they even went with the ending like that because they were like, who knows, maybe we're going to do season 7 sometimes in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe that had something to do with it.
They could. I hope they don't. God,
Oh,
I hope we
well,
never. I
no,
hope we
no, no,
never
no,
see a
no.
remake.
In 27, no. I mean, they maybe thought we are going to do
No, I
season
get what you're
7
saying,
a
but I
year
hope they
or
never HBO never, goes like, oh, we're
doing it,
doing a
or
reboot of Sopranos, or we're doing a continuation where, 20 years like like Deadwood or Twin Peaks or any of these shows that continued on way. I don't like them. I mean, they can be good. I'm not going to say they can't be good, but Sopranos was just so perfect. Just leave it alone. Even the movie has me a little bit worried. I know David Chase is, it's still his vision. It's a whole different set of actors, so it's not going to be, like like the Deadwood movie. They dragged out all the actors 20 years later. They had like crutches. They could barely walk. They were so old. I would hate to see that. But the fact that, they're using different characters and everything, I think that gives it a chance to be good.
yeah, but I agree. But how on earth do you can have anyone replace Tony Sirico as Paulie Gaultier? I mean, that's a crime.
Have they announced who is actually like playing him?
Yes, a guy whose last name is Magnuson. I don't know anything about him, but yeah, Paulie
He
will be
sounds
in many films.
he
I
sounds
don't know.
European.
Yeah, sounds like he's from Denmark. That's a
Yeah,
Danish
maybe.
last name. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
see.
see. But he was given the toughest job in the world to try to replicate, or at least do something similar to what Tony Sirico did with that character. I mean,
Yeah.
in my opinion, that is impossible to repeat. And I am not saying that Tony Sirico is a world-class actor, because he's not. But I think he was playing himself in that role, and that was why he did so well in the role of Paulie, and that is why the Paulie character is so legendary, because you had an actual mobster playing himself.
Yeah, no, I think he did grow to be a good actor as the series went on. Definitely, that first season, he's just kind of there, just kind of saying the lines they give him. But especially as like storylines started to revolve more and more around him, season 4 and onward. I definitely think he learned to, actually play a character rather than just play himself.
Especially from season 3.
Oh yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
That's it. I just wanted to say, especially from season 3.
Oh yeah. No, like the way he was able to not only, be this menacing guy, but also be this bumbling guy, this comedic clown. And he was comfortable humiliating himself in these ways. I'll never forget that look he has in the mirror when he goes to talk to Carmine Señor at the wedding, and he realizes he's been played.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, brilliant. And from season 3, Paulie never really had his own storyline apart from that small time that he got in Commendatori until season 3. And from season 3, when Christopher became a made guy, Paulie actually started to get his own storylines, and that was the time that Sirico really started to become a good actor. I don't know if they didn't have enough confidence in him before season 3, but sometimes when Christopher became it, they were brilliant together. Anything that involved Paulie and Christopher was like a highlight of any episode.
They were such great characters because they had such friction. They're so different but similar at the same time. They work together as a community. I mean, obviously Pine Barrens, people love that episode that revolves entirely around them. And that duo, I think surprised everyone just how incredible they could be when paired together.
Yeah, amazing chemistry between the two actors. Everything. They had like 5 episodes that where the storyline was Paulie versus Christopher, and that is not and I don't include Pine Barrens in that because that wasn't really about Paulie versus Christopher. It was about survival in the wood. Amazing chemistry between the two of them. I don't know. Maybe I should have listened to Talking Sopranos because I don't know too much about it. I tried to watch it for like 3 or 4 episodes, and Bobby Bacala's TV strip is just too annoying for me with all those interruptions that he makes to other guys. And from time to time, I checked to see who were the guests on that show, and they had some amazing guests. So probably I should have checked it, but I don't know. Steve is too much for me. Maybe he changed. Do you watch it?
I watch the interview sections because you're right, it's the best parts of that to hear from. They had some amazing, like Matt Weiner's interview. I loved it. It was incredible to hear him talk about his experiences on the show. The same for Terry Winter. I think Terry is probably the best writer they had on that show besides Chase himself. He just wrote some knockout episodes. Big Girls Don't Cry, Long-Term Parking. Like, oh my God, so good. And then I always thought it was so interesting how the writers on that in that writing room went on to create some of the best shows on television. Terry Winter went on to make Boardwalk Empire. Matt Weiner went on to create Mad Men. James Manos Jr., who was in season 1, a writer on season 1, went on to make Dexter. And I think Robin Green and Mitch Burgess, they have a show called Blue Bloods right now. I haven't seen it, but they all went on to make some really critically acclaimed shows and really popular shows.
Actually, before The Sopranos, Terrence Winter wrote Oz.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was on that show.
Sorry?
I didn't know he wrote for that show.
The main writer, Terrence Winter. And when I saw Terrence Winter, when I watched The Sopranos for the first time, whoa, that's the guy who wrote those, because I actually watched those like 10 years before I watched Sopranos.
Me too, actually. I watched Oz before I ever watched Sopranos. Funny.
Yeah, it was still on air when they started to air it here in Serbia. It still wasn't finished in USA, and I watched that Oz like 3 or 4 times, and I knew nothing about Sopranos. So I thought it was about some opera singers.
Yeah, the Sopranos.
And when I saw Terrence Winter as the writer, this has to be something good.
I was so into Oz when I was watching it that I wanted to be a criminal, which is so stupid to take that from Oz, which shows you how bad being a criminal is. But I got in trouble for shoplifting one time. I didn't even want the thing I stole. I wanted to be a criminal because of that show. I know it's so stupid, but that show, I really liked it too. I don't think it's definitely not the masterpiece that Sopranos is, but definitely paved the way for Sopranos to do. That was one of the first shows HBO did that was like pushing boundaries. You never saw a show like that before.
Definitely, yeah. I agree. And
I know we're a little running out of time here, and I wanted to kind of cover a couple other things with you. I wanted to know a little bit more about, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, El Señor de los Cielos?
El Señor de los Cielos.
Cielos. Because that is the Lord of the Skies, yes. A telenovela about a narco, I believe it is. And it's interesting that, a guy from Serbia like you is into this American show, but also this, Spanish show. I'd love to learn a little bit more about that.
Are you sure you want to know about it? Because I don't think people are really interested in El Señor de los Cielos.
Well, they're interested in you, and I just wanted to kind of know because that's your other passion from from your YouTube channel at least. Is that's the other thing that you upload, and from what I
Mhm.
can tell, you've got your own community of Spanish speakers who follow that, maybe separately
Well,
from your
yeah, but
Soprano videos.
El Señor, no, I started to pronounce it like American. El Señor de los Cielos actually ended pretty badly when the main actor got in some real trouble, and they started to do the show without him. That was like doing Sopranos without James Gandolfini, and I don't know. They should have never done it. So I don't know. It's not on air anymore. There is a possibility it will continue someday. But yeah, actually, uh, I don't like to be called a telenovela because of certain negative implications.
Oh, I gotcha.
Uh, I prefer narco series, but yeah, it's not really a narco series. It's more like telenovela after season one. Unfortunately, I don't know. It just I was watching a series called Escobar, El Patrón del Mal in 2012, so 9 years ago, and you have available that to Netflix. That has nothing to do with soap operas. It's a real narco show that paved the way to the Narcos that Netflix did. And when Escobar, El Patrón del Mal ended in 2013, the actor who played Pablo Escobar in that show went on to become a guest star on some show called El Señor de los Cielos. And I had no idea at the time what the fuck El Señor de los Cielos is. And I just wanted to see the guy who played Pablo in the series that I loved, Escobar, El Patrón del Mal, portraying Pablo once more. And then I was like, whoa, this is actually good. This is about the Mexican drug lord, the biggest of probably of all time until El Chapo was in prison at that time. I don't know if you have ever watched Narcos that Netflix did,
I have,
Narcos
yes.
Mexico. So you know who is Amado Carrillo Fuentes,
Yes.
the guy with the big nose, and the end Diego Luna, who portrayed uh, Diego Luna at the end says that Amado is the smartest, and in that closing segment, Amado is the smartest, and that Juarez Cartel is going to absorb everything. And actually, this show, El Señor de los Cielos, is about the life of that guy, Amado Carrillo Fuentes.
Yeah.
Season one was very realistic. Everything that happened in Mexico during the period of 1993 until 1997, when Amado Carrillo Fuentes died, that was like a, I don't know, natural continuation for me, because Escobar, El Patrón del Mal ended, and I just went on to watch the new show and got hooked up on it. And absolutely out of nowhere, it occurred to me, why not try uploading a scene from that? And out of nowhere, a video gets 200k views. I was like, what the fuck? Why?
I know that feeling.
Why? And then I upload the one more and attached it to the end screen. And people started clicking. And like 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks later in 2018, the first video that I uploaded goes to have almost 1 million views. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
People are passionate fans.
I had no idea about it. I had no idea about it, because the show was actually on the break. Nobody even knew if they were going to do season 7 at that time, because the main actor was gone. I mean, not really gone, but he was unavailable. And okay, this has a lot of fans. Obviously, I'm a huge fan, and well, let's upload a few videos, and I don't know, it's insane. I have I think more than 50 videos uploaded with more than 1 million views. It's incredible. And by the way, I want to end this debate once and for all. I have never ever taken a cent from uploading anything, because my channel would have never existed for a second if it was monetized. So this is just my hobby. I'm grateful to HBO and Telemundo for allowing me to upload those short scenes for like 4 or 5 minutes and to actually enjoy the content with the fellow fans. That's it. It's just a hobby.
Well, your fans are, so grateful that you provide that for them. And I think that, really HBO and these other networks should also be thanking you too, because it's fans like this to keep series alive. People are still talking about Sopranos even after all this time. They still want to watch clips. They still want to have discussions, do analysis. And I think studios are starting to understand that. I see a lot of networks creating their own YouTube channels and like actually posting the clips themselves, because they realize that fans want to see it. Fans want to talk in the comments with other people about what's happening. And yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, Sopranos have like a cult-like following. It's incredible, and that tells you how great the show was. It was like it ended 14 years ago, and people still are able to commentate on YouTube like it's still on air. It's like it's happening now. When I upload the video, they're like, "Oh, let's talk about it like it's happening now," and that always amazes me, because I mean, like, how? What's so special about it? And then like, oh yeah, there's a lot of special things. It was a masterpiece, Sopranos.
Yeah.
It will last forever, I think.
Well, specifically
because,
on no good.
No, I'm done.
Okay, I was just gonna say, specifically on YouTube, whenever a Sopranos video comes up, your name comes up. It's more than just like, I mean, there's other people that upload clips, but somehow you've become like a person within the community that people talk about. And I was wondering where the name like Borko comes from. I don't know if that's something you're okay talking about, but I think that's a lot of people like saying it. That's just your name.
That's my name. Borko is a Serbian name that means actually every Serbian name has its meaning. And my name Borko, actually Borko, means Borko is someone who fights for everything in life. And that's it. So that's my name.
That's a good name. Well, I was saying that Thanks. I think that it's such a fun name for people to say. And I think they like bringing it up. Definitely every single video I upload, people are making jokes about, did the boss...
I'm sorry for that. I saw that. I'm very sorry, but
I love it, man. I love it. The whole point of Sopranos is to make jokes and reference things. And people are always calling you the boss of the Sopranos community, which I think is great. I think it's funny. I love it.
I don't know what to say.
It's all in good fun.
I don't know. I'm sorry. When I started reading those comments on your video and they just start randomly writing my name, invading your video with that, I was like, why are you doing this to the guy? He's doing such a great job. I don't stop. Please stop. Okay,
well, we can put this to rest.
You're not bothered by it.
Yeah, so we can put this to rest. There's no beef between Kino and Borko. We're both all good.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Not a beef at all. Hopefully we'll become friends. I don't know. This is the first time we are
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, like they say in Casablanca. But thank you so much for being on this podcast, Borko. It really means a lot to me. I'd love to continue to talk with you in the future. I think what you do is great. I think this community is amazing. And thank you so much for being on the first episode of the Pure Kino podcast.
Well, Kino, it was an honor, really. It was an honor to be the first guest on your podcast. I wish you all the luck because all you have the knowledge. I think you did amazing as the interviewer here. You have it naturally. I'm really impressed with how pro you are.
Thank you. I'm not. I'm just making it up as I go. But
no, it was really so natural. It's almost an hour. We were talking an hour now. I see what time it is, and it was like we started to talk for me like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, me too.
The time expired so fast. It's amazing.
I just love talking about this show.
Yeah, me too. And thank you so much for having me. I wish you all the luck. You have the knowledge, you have the talent to be a great interviewer. People will see this when you air our, how can I call it? Chat, why not?
Chat.
And more or less, yeah, thank you so much. It was really
awesome.
An honor. Thank you.
Thank you too. And stay tuned for the next Pure Kino podcast coming. I don't know when. Thank you. You can listen to the edited audio version of this podcast on my new website, purekino.com.